Well, Coach, congratulations. Humboldt is back in the playoffs for the first time since 2021. I don't know if you've got any players that are on this team that was on that team. That's been a
No,
while.
they'd been eighth graders.
Yeah, so,
Yep.
what does that mean to you, this team, the community, just getting back to the playoffs, getting that monkey off your back?
Absolutely, it's awesome. Just the excitement from the guys. Going back to last night, they were super excited getting that win,
Yeah.
getting that fifth win.
Sure.
That hadn't been done in a long time at Humboldt either. So,
Yeah.
just getting that fifth win and securing that playoff spot, it was huge for these guys. It'll be the senior classes, like you said, the first time making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So for everyone on the team, it's their first time making the playoffs. It'll be my first time as head coach making the playoffs. So, I mean, for me, it's huge.
Yeah.
And for the kids, it's huge. And just community-wise, I think it's awesome to see the support that we've had this year, especially coming on as a late, over this win streak that we ended the year with. It's just been awesome.
Yeah, and last night's 38-32 win over Lakeland Prep. What do you feel like was the singles biggest key that swung that game your way?
I'm going to go ahead and give it to D. Westbrook.
Okay.
He had the early pick six, that got us on the board. We're struggling offensively starting off. We drove the ball down well, struggled to put the ball in the end zone. D gets the interception on their third drive and takes it back to the house and kind of got us fired up. So I think that was the big swing moment for us. And then Darian Taylor, when he got into it with the ref almost,
Yeah.
he kind of played offensively on fire after that. He got heated and he heated up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he ended with 11 catches for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it was crazy.
It was amazing to watch how your team offensively too, they just didn't quit. Even on those high leverage downs. Offensively, what do you like the most about your execution and decision making in those moments?
Like you said, the decision making, right? KD's taking what the defense is going to give him.
Sure.
He's scanning the field well right now. He's looking for his open guy, and he's making on-target throws. I mean, this year he's completing 75% of his passes, and there's not a whole lot of quarterbacks in the state who can say that.
Yeah.
Outside of Graham Simpson.
Yeah. Man, he's throwing dimes.
Yeah.
Good grief. I saw a highlight again last night. They really
Yeah.
rolled over Covington
They
last
did.
night.
They did.
Defensively, man, this unit, good grief, they've really come along. What did your unit do best? They're playing a 4A opponent, and I know, again, and I don't necessarily call it coaches speak. You have to say that to the kids. They're going to play 11 kids on the field at a time.
Oh, yeah.
I get that. But in a 4A school, you got multiple athletes on the field at one time. What did your unit defensively do best last night to kind of slow them down?
They played fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a 4A opponent. Lakeland Prep, they're a good school. They're a newer school, but they have athletes in that school. They won state in baseball last year.
Yeah.
So they have the athletes there, and they have a lot of good athletes on that football team. And they played fundamentally sound. We held our own in the run game. They broke off a few big runs, but we held our own for the most part there. Our pass coverage is obviously our strength. I think we have 15 or 16 interceptions on the year, with our linebackers and DBs. So
Yeah.
that's a strength of ours. So we knew if we got them into those passing downs, they were going to make some mistakes, throwing it to our guys.
Yeah.
But, man, it all goes back to that front seven, playing gap sound and fundamentally sound and holding our own up front.
There's been games this year where offensively we're clicking, defense was off. There's been games where the defense was clicking, offense was off. You felt like defensively and offensively at Lake County, they both were doing pretty good, and then special teams felt off. Last night, special teams, it can often it tilts those tight games. I felt like your special teams won that game for you last night. When you kicked that onside kick, recovered it,
Yep.
that was your ball game.
Absolutely. Tylen did a great job kicking for us last night. He had the deep kick as well that
Yes.
he ended up recovering. So, it's crazy that your kicker kicks one deep and they kind of bobble it and kick it around a little bit, and your kicker's the one down there recovering it. But he's one of our better athletes on the team. So,
Yes, sir.
that's what you get with the athletic kicker. But then the onside kick at the end to seal it. We told him, find your gap, kick it into the gap. All right, we don't want to kick it deep. Don't want to give them a chance to return it on us. So he saw a little opening and kicked it there. And obviously we put some of our guys out there on the kickoff team towards the end of the game just to kind of limit the return.
Yeah.
So Tyon Campbell was out there, and he ended up as the one who recovered that one. But man, it was just great to see the special teams unit step up, and man, it was kind of back and forth. It's kind of how you'd say the season went.
Yeah.
At one point the offense wasn't clicking, the defense was doing great, kind of evened out in the second quarter, and then third quarter, defense did pretty good. Offense was struggling, and then in the fourth quarter, offense lit it up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it was the total picture of the season right there in one game.
Fun night for sure. Overall health of the roster still good coming out of that game?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a few little injuries, shoulder and a knee, but we had them looked at this morning. We think they're just bruises on there, some bone bruise, ice, rest, ibuprofen, and they're going to get rechecked on Monday, but I think everyone should be good to go.
Yeah.
Tyreek went to the doctor this morning. He got cleared.
Good.
So we'll have him back next week when we go to Memphis. He'll be in his brace still, but it'll be wrapped up, and he'll at least be able to go and, give us that extra body in there. And, man, while he was playing this year, he was a big difference maker on that D-line. He's probably – on the D-line, he's probably our best pass rusher. So, I think he has 5 or 6 sacks on the year, only playing half the year. Yeah. So it'd be big to have him back.
With those injuries, are there any young players or next man up players that earned bigger roles as you go into the postseason, or you just got deeper?
We just got deeper. One that stepped up for us offensively is D. Westbrook. He's been a starter on defense all year, but offensively he's our guy. We kind of throw in whatever spot we need him. So Buka got hit hard yesterday. His helmet flew off, and we threw D out there at X. We can throw him in at quarterback if we need to. We can throw him at any of our receiver spots. So he's a guy who's come a long way this year, and I've been super proud of him.
With a quick turnaround, now you're in playoff prep. What does today through Thursday look like for you? Install, recovery, travel, logistics, all of that.
Big thing today, and obviously the weekend, we're using that to recover. We're not going to do anything today. I'll have them watch them film on their own.
Sure.
But, big win last night. Take the time to recover and get healthy going into next week. But next week we're going to treat it just like we have been. Past few weeks we've kind of went more towards a team-heavy approach offensively and defensively, getting a lot more team reps in there against what we're going to see. And it seemed to have helped, the fronts, both offensively and defensively, and our receivers finding that spacing. So I think we're going to keep kind of the same ideal and prepped going into the week for sure.
It's so good to see these kids play that hard. They were playing for the 4 seniors on your roster, but, really the win didn't matter in the sense of playoffs. You needed Greenfield or Dresden to win. Both of them won. But you took care of business at home. You're traveling to Memphis to play Middle College. What stands out on film about their identity?
They're going to be a physical team. They want to run the football. They will throw the ball on occasion, but they want to run the football, so it's huge for the front. We've kept getting better as the years come along, but it's time to take another step forward. And, 1A ball, you're going to see a lot of running.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of downhill run, try and get, extra blockers out in space and get your running back going. We're kind of opposite of that. We're the 1A team that wants to throw the ball around. So it'll be kind of a clash of style.
Okay.
But they have some good athletes who can cover pretty well. Obviously, they've played some good teams down there. They started the year with Crockett. Obviously they've played their region schedule.
Sure.
And they've run the table on their region. They're undefeated in region play, so they're going to be a good football team. They're going to end 8-1 this year because they had an extra bye week, so they're a good football team.
Yeah, well, and I thought last night, we knew they were going to do this coming in. They were going to try to throw different looks at us, a lot of motions, and I think you played a lot more disciplined last night. We jumped off sides a couple of times,
right?
But it wasn't like in previous games where you had multiple offsides penalties,
right?
You obviously hope that carries over into the playoffs. It sounds like it's going to just be a knockdown, drag out. That's kind of what it sounds like.
That's what we're preparing for. two good football teams are going in there, and obviously come playoff time, only one team can come out. It's win or go home. So, these kids are fighting for their lives, and that's where we've been the past few weeks, and I think that's when we've played our best, was, backs against the wall. We have to win this game, and our kids have stepped up time and time again, and, man, I just hope I see that again next week.
I know the coach talk would be everybody, but is there a certain area in a matchup that you like this week, like line of scrimmage, perimeter, special teams, anything like that?
I haven't seen enough on them to really talk about that. Obviously we're gonna find mismatches, and that's gonna be where we want to attack. They have, like I said, some really good players on their front. They're gonna send some pressures, so naturally for me, I think our slot guys, Tyon and Darian, will be the kind of mismatches that we see. I think they're gonna play off Tylen a little bit, and I think they'll play off Buka a little bit. So mismatches, obviously, for me, I think will be in those slots. But we got to get the running game rolling. Against Gleason, Jeremiah had a pretty good game. He had a pretty good game last night. Everything, kept falling forward for yards. He had the one mistake down in the red zone, but it happens.
It does.
And it's a coaching point for him. Hey, in that situation, we got to double up. We just got to drop our shoulder and fall forward. But outside of that, I think he had a good game. Yardage-wise, it wasn't always there.
Sure.
But, when you can get 2 or 3 yards of carry with him, just to keep everyone from playing so far off, it's huge for us. And the clock moving. So,
yeah, road playoff environments are a little different. I know you've proven you can win on the road this year. Big wins at Milton, Lake County. It's a different routine, different stadium. Do you script your first few plays, or is that just like pros in college? You just kind of get the feel of the game?
I script everything. So our first 10 plays in every game are always scripted.
Okay.
So on my play sheet, I have the first 10 plays scripted. Right. It'll be just off what I see on film every week. Yeah. Me and Coach Swift will sit there and we'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll draw up our script probably Sunday, headed into the week. So that way we're getting our practice reps on those 10 plays for sure.
Yeah.
And then everything else, man, we'll just go off feel of the game and, trying to find that weakness in the defense.
Which leaders in your locker room are you leaning on most this week? I'm talking vocal guys, maybe steady veteran or emerging underclassmen.
It's normal guys for us, It's the Jeremiah Joneses, it's the KD Taylors, those seniors who have, been around for years and who have bought into what their roles are on the team. It's the Tyon Campbells and the Darian Taylors who are, juniors who are stepping up into those roles and being leaders. And then, it's guys like D. Westbrook, like Dre Emerson, who are going to come in every day, who are going to work, who maybe aren't those vocal guys, but who are guys who are leading by example every week. So it'll be the same group of guys for sure.
What's your mentality for the sideline? I know we kind of got a sideline warning last night. I think both sides actually did.
We did.
How do you want them to respond after a big play? Do you want them excited, or do you want them to act like they've been there before?
I want them excited. It gets everyone on the field excited when they look over and their sideline's going crazy for them. Obviously, you act like you've been there.
Yeah.
But in key moments like that, man, I'm all good with getting excited over there, as long as we don't take it too far.
Yeah. Well, I know you say you haven't really done a whole lot of study on them yet, so I won't ask about keys to the game yet. If fans are listening, what should they watch for early that tells them, Humboldt's on schedule. They're not off because they've had to travel.
If we're getting the passing game going, it's what it's been all year. If we're completing those quick passes out to our playmakers in space, and if Jeremiah's running downhill, it's going to be a good night for us. That's the biggest thing. And then defensively, are we stopping the run? That's what it all boils down to every single week, especially, like I said, in 1A football. Yeah. If you're stopping the run, if you're closing those gaps and making them earn their yards and drive the ball instead of, big plays, then we're going to be all right.
Well, I told you 10 minutes and I went over, so I'm going to stop. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck Friday night.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, and go Vikings.